Welcome everyone to the Lofi Poli Sci podcast. I'm your host, Michael Pickering. That's right. Lo-fi as in low fidelity, low quality, in your face, messy as can be, global news show. It's Tuesday, Lo-Fi Nation, and you know what that means. It's time for Tuesday's Top 10 list. Every Tuesday, we look at global indicators and surveys to see what countries hold the top 10 rankings in particular categories. We'll cover things like GDP, oldest country, freest country, happiest country, and more. And no worries, Lo-Fi listener. We'll cover what each category means before we jump into the list. Today's top 10 list, the 10 least connected countries to the internet. Or another way of putting it, the 10 countries with the lowest internet domestication rates in the world. The source of our data is the United Nations agency called the International Telecommunications Union. The list goes by percent of the population with internet access, and the data is for 2020, and an internet user is characterized as any person who's accessed the internet in the last 12 months from any device, including mobile phones. Now straight to it, the list. Coming in at number 10, Democratic Republic of Congo, with only 8.6% of the population having internet access. At number 9, Comoros, at 8.5% having internet access. Number 8, Liberia, with 8% connected online. Number 7, South Sudan, with 8% as well being connected. Number 6, Chad at 6.5%. And now to our bottom 5. Number 5, Burundi at 5.6% of the population connected to the internet. Number 4, Central African Republic with 4.3%. Number 3, Guinea-Bissau with 3.9% having internet access. Number 2, Somalia with 2% having internet access. And at number 1, the least connected country to the internet by percent population connected, Eritrea, with only 1.3% of the population having internet access. Astounding. Simply astounding when you think of those numbers. Many people assume they live in a society where everyone has the internet in their pocket, and that the world works like that too. P.S. We'll change that conception about how connected developed countries are next week. Not 100% of any population is totally connected. Not even in 2020. But let's look at some other interesting stats from our data. In 2019, out of the total global population of about 7.75 billion people on Earth, 53.6% of the population are internet users. Just over half. That's it. You should notice right away, all 10 of our countries on the list are African countries as well. And looking at our data for the continent of Africa, only 28.2% of the population on the continent are internet users. That's just over 1 out of 4. And think about number 1 on the list, Eritrea. Only 1.3% of the population are internet users. In a world where everyone assumes globalization has connected the entire planet completely, we can obviously see that connectivity does not extend to everyone on the planet. The instant access we like, the wealth of knowledge only a few taps of the keyboard away, that instant gratification of when you don't know something, you can simply Google it. The fact is, almost half the population on Earth doesn't have that connection. That's some stats for you, Lo-Fi Nation. But as always on Tuesdays, we have to come back to the question we always end with. And that question? Why does this list even matter? Why should any of you care that only 8.6% of the population of the Democratic Republic of Congo are internet users? And this one is another one. I can't give you the answer. You simply have to search inside yourself. What I will do is tell you how I feel inside myself. You see, for me, this list represents a lot. I profess at a university. I teach in person and online. I'm a YouTuber. I'm a podcaster. I'm connected to so many channels and platforms on the net. I consume more than a metric ton of international news a day from my phone and computer 7 days a week. In many ways, I always feel connected. Never alone. Always just one cast away from another soul. You see, Lo-Fi Nation, the internet, and this is in all literal terms and no metaphors at all, simply real talk. The internet is a connection of connections that houses data for people to consume. That data stored on the net, on servers, that data is the net. The podcast you are listening to right now is part of the net. It's data stored on a server that is accessed via a connection of connections. We are the internet. We are the data people consume as well as the consumers of other people's data. And we're all connected. And what this list means to me is that almost half of the planet is not connected with us. We are not connected to them. it makes me feel that we are leaving people behind, and there is still much work to be done. Let me know your thoughts on this one, Lo-Fi Nation. What does this list make you feel? There's no right or wrong answer. There's just us, and the we that we be. And that's this Tuesday's Top 10 list. Stay tuned for tomorrow's episode of Lo-Fi Global News. Always remember that Lofi Poli Sci is more than just me. It's the we that we be. Write in with questions or comments to lofipolisci@planetmail.com. Thanks for listening. Stay safe. Wash those hands. And I'll see you on the next episode of the Lofi Poli Sci podcast. Pickering, signing off.